Sunday Scaries podcast feed. My name's Will DeFries. My co-host right next to me, Barrett Dudley. Barrett, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. I just got back from Colorado yesterday. And the thing about coming back from Colorado is I feel like you get an automatic boost just by going from 12,000 feet back to sea level.
Mm-hmm.
Those oxygen levels in your blood, they just pump right back up. And I feel like you don't have the same type of kind of travel lag that you do returning from, New York or California or wherever else.
I mean, did you have that Rocky Mountain high that they all talk about, Barrett?
In the good way or the bad way?
I don't really know.
I didn't have it in the bad way. There were multiple people that were dealing with altitude sickness. And so I took great joy in just throwing around that I was built different because it wasn't really affecting me in a negative way. And, I'm just a mountain guy. What else can I say?
Yeah. I mean, you're just built for the mountain life.
I'm just built for the mountain life. That's really all there is to it.
Yeah. So. I mean, you're going to be wearing a lot of flannel and really generic denim, growing a beard this fall. You're just going full mountain man.
I might. Every fall I like to see if my beard growing abilities have gotten any stronger. They never do, but I like to check. So,
Barrett, I'm kind of amazed that we've gotten we're almost at fall right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm kind of amazed that we've gotten this far in such a quick amount of time, just simply because the entire reason that I even thought that retail therapy was going to be a viable thing was because of the fall fashion episode that we did on Scaries for a couple years running.
Yeah.
And then on top of that was, I believe, our gift guide episode always did really well. And I was like, okay, this retail therapy thing makes sense. Now we're almost coming completely full circle now. It feels good.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, these episodes have been great, but with a new Taylor Swift album upon us and cooler weather heading down the pipeline, it seems like it's really ready to take off.
I mean, 2020 was a year for me that had a lot of ups and downs, as it was for most of us. I will say that a lot of the ups happened when Taylor's albums were just dropping. I was loving life. I remember I woke up one morning, Folklore had just dropped on Spotify. Sally hadn't gotten up yet, and I just popped in the headphones and just laid in bed looking out the window, and I listened to it, and I was like, yep, this Taylor's my speed.
Yeah, and that's why you host a podcast called The Sunday Scaries.
Yeah, that's true.
That's just that's it right there. You just bottled up the ethos and...
Yeah, I guess Folklore and Evermore were kind of the most Sunday Scaries albums that she's had so far.
Yeah.
I do think that whatever this one's called, Midnights or whatever.
Midnights, yeah.
This one probably has some Sunday Scary stuff to it. I was trying to think of 13 tracks that I could lay down that were all about my anxieties in the middle of the night. 'Cause I think we could all make a pretty good album based on that.
Yeah.
Oh, Barrett. I mean, I don't even know where to start today because there's a lot going on in the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
You just got back from Colorado where you did not post any full kit pick.
I've not yet. My plan is, let's see, when is this episode going to come out? Wednesday?
Yep.
Wednesday, August 31st?
That's correct.
If you tune in, if you follow me on Instagram at Barrett Dudley, by the time you hear this episode, there will be a full post, not just stories, where you'll get a full view head to toe of the kit that I put together for the wedding. The truth is, I worked hard on my outfit, on my look for the wedding, but my partner Laura, I think, worked harder and ended up kind of besting me by a long margin.
That is a ruthless move from Laura.
It was her time. It was her time. It's like, and I was happy to let her get the shine there, but her fit kind of dominated mine and was just more on point, more on the trend, on the aesthetic, on the vibe of the wedding as a whole, which was just outside of Telluride, in just kind of like on this big plateau, like with just an absolutely gorgeous landscape in the background. And she just she nailed it. And so I was more excited to post her look than I was mine at the end of it all.
I don't know the word that I want to use here, but I know that it's not the word eclectic, because I don't want to describe your style as eclectic, because I think that gives it a connotation that it doesn't deserve. But you have a good way of putting together outfits with several different things that don't look alike. Like you don't stay in one lane, which I like. Like you don't have certain, you might have certain colors that you think you gravitate toward, but for me, I don't think of a certain color and think, oh, that's Barrett.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you have this problem. Do you ever find Laura dressing like you?
Dressing like me?
Have you guys started to dress more alike since since you've started living together, things like that? Because half the time I feel like I will get dressed and then Sally will come out of our bedroom like 30 minutes later and I'm like, "Oh, okay. So we're both going gray bottoms, black top tonight, huh?"
Yeah, I feel like that probably happens to a lot of couples. Just the longer you're together, the more those wavelengths are just kind of the same. That you're thinking the same way. You know how they say like people start to look like each other
Mhm.
over the years,
Mhm.
just like in the face.
Yeah.
How does that happen? That doesn't make any sense. But I feel like the same thing happens with the way you dress quite a bit. Because what you're describing there, like we each kind of walk out of the bedroom, whatever, and like look up and we're wearing like the exact same color shirt. That definitely happens. But as far as I mean, it's been many years that we've been together, and I feel like I am just now beginning to wield a little bit of influence on her overall style as a whole.
See, I like that. I like that. I can picture Laura being very strong when it comes to these things. So
Uh-huh.
I get that. I think I always try to like insert my influence on Sally when I'm like, but she's really tired of me wearing so much black, which I haven't been doing nearly as much of lately since we're out of all just sitting around our houses all the time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the biggest difference between the two of us, which I'm sure a lot of people listening can also relate to, is like I'm the spender, she's the saver.
Mhm.
So it's taking quite a while for me to like break down that wall and be like, it's okay, like you're allowed to spend like to buy something nice for yourself.
See, I need to change the dynamic in my relationship. I need to start being the spender so that I can start dressing. I
Yeah,
guess I try to dress now, but I don't dress nearly as much as I want to.
it's an expensive habit, that's for sure.
Before we get into today's episode, we do have some announcements. First and foremost, this is important. Our YouTube channel, we officially have a good URL, a certified good URL. YouTube.com/Sunday Scaries podcast. Who knows? The URL might change in the near future. We don't know. But right now it is youtube.com/Sunday Scaries podcast. You can watch all these episodes right there. Additionally, listener companions drop on willdefreeze.substack.com. I just kind of take stuff from this episode, put it all in one place. Makes it a lot easier for you to digest some of the stuff if you're having trouble or wanting links to anything. Also, at retail.pod on Instagram. We're almost at 1,000 followers, Barrett.
Wow.
Like really close to 1,000 followers to the point where I'm checking right now just to make sure. But I'm just going to say it. Our 1,000th follower will be the lad bruv or the last bruv of the week
Okay.
for the Retail Therapy podcast. Who knows?
Wait, what is the female version?
The last bruv?
Last bruv.
Last bruv. Yeah, I
Okay.
don't know. I had to come up with it on the spot. But either way, actually, 1,000 follower might get a DM about something.
Okay.
Maybe they might get a little backtrack to like a giveaway or something. We'll see. We'll
okay.
see. And outside of that, I am going to be gone late next week, but we will be releasing an episode while I'm out of town. We'll be recording it next week. We're probably going to do listener questions. So if you want to go do that and submit your questions, you can either submit them whenever I put up the prompt at retail.pod on Instagram, or I'm probably going to put up one on Scaries as well if we don't get enough questions through Retail Therapy's Instagram. But I want to pump the Retail Therapy Instagram before. I'm going to give those questions first rights.
First, yeah.
I think that makes sense.
Right of first refusal.
Well, Barrett, because I just mentioned being out of town, I'm going to lead off today with a conversation that I desperately need your help with.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't know how much you've been following the news lately when it comes to travel. London Heathrow Airport is in a bad place. They are losing luggage. I think they're understaffed, and that's the issue. So the luggage is just taking forever to get out. It could take I think the average wait time there is 4+ hours to get your bags and stuff.
What?
It's insane.
You get off the plane and then you wait for 4 hours
That's
to get
what I'm
your
being told.
bags?
Yes, it's bad. And so, and additionally,
crap.
some people are waiting 2 to 3 days to get theirs. Even though their stuff is in London, they just don't have
Yeah.
the manpower to bring it in.
Wow.
So
I do think, Heathrow is hopefully I'm not wrong here. I'm pretty sure I'm right. It's one of the largest and most trafficked airports in the world.
I think it's massive. Yeah.
And so I'm pretty sure it's one of those ones where like you fly in and your plane gets to the jet bridge or whatever,
Mhm.
and then that might be like miles away from like the baggage claim.
Probably.
It's one of the short staffing really affects those airports that are huge like that.
Well, I
Let me tell you. Let me throw out one thing here first,
Okay.
because a couple weeks ago, what I gave out as my imminent cop was AirPod Pros because I wanted the noise canceling.
Yeah.
There were some comments on a clip that we released, which I saw them after I made the discovery for myself. But we're like days away here from Apple releasing new iPhone and new tech overall, and one of the things that's coming out is an updated AirPod Pro, which will apparently be better for sweat, working out, longer battery life, and like other like, you know, good things. And so I did catch that, and I did not go AirPod Pros, so I'm waiting. What I did go was AirTag, which I think you already own them.
That's my guy. I have 7 AirTags, I think. I'm AirTagging everything.
They are they're good. I tossed one in our checked bag for this trip, and it was just nice to have the peace of mind that I could like just see that it had made it.
Barrett, you might have seen some life leave my body while you were just talking.
I did.
I'm going to ask you a question, and I really hope your answer is what I want it to be.
Okay, all right.
Are they releasing a new AirPod Max on this new wave of Apple tech releases? Because if they are, I'm finding myself in quite the conundrum here, as I have a pair en route to me that have been engraved from Apple. And
Wow.
I do not want to deal with, I don't want to be the idiot that receives them the day that the new ones get announced, because that would kill me inside.
From what I've read, there is not new AirPod Max technology releasing, which generally tracks, I think, because they're a bigger, more expensive body that like I don't think needs as many updates as apparently the AirPod Pros do.
Okay, because I've officially been influenced at this point, Barrett.
You'd had enough.
I've had enough of seeing these all these Instagram models just walking around in AirPod Maxes,
Yeah.
and so finally, I decided that if I'm ever gonna spend good money on headphones, it should be before I go to Europe on like and have like these really long flights.
Mhm.
So what I did was I did it.
So that's what you did. Is you did it.
Okay, I financed them using my Apple Card for 6 easy payments.
Okay, I got it. Okay, quick question. Why did you decide to have them engraved?
Just in case I've never really left anything on a plane before, but in case I left them on a plane, I was hoping that somebody would maybe give them to me.
Okay.
That being said, no one's going to give back some AirPod Pros to a dude that lives in the United States.
Yeah.
So like if I lose them in Europe, it's done. Like they're gone.
Because that also adds to the time. That adds to the time that it takes to get them to you.
If I'm being honest, like
You might
if
be-
I'm
you
being
might be
completely
cutting it
honest,
close.
no, I'm good. They're going to
Okay.
get here Monday.
All right.
If I'm being honest, I did not actually care if I got them engraved, but I for some reason added them to my cart like 3 months ago on the Apple Store app, and they were still sitting in my cart when I went in to actually go buy them, and I
Okay.
was like, "Oh, that's easy." And
Yeah.
I saw they were engraved, and I saw they'd deliver about 3 days later,
Yeah.
and I was like, "I kind of want to take the engraving off so I can just get them like literally tomorrow."
Yeah.
And I was just too lazy, and so I just left the engraving on there. So,
All right.
so if anyone finds some black AirPod Maxes with at will to freeze on them, please return them.
Okay. Well, sorry to derail us there.
No, it's
but
okay.
to get back to your trip, I know you've got this packing conundrum that we're going to get to, but now, myself and all of our listeners, we do expect like a mirror selfie of you like looking hot in AirPod Maxes.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to be doing that all through Europe.
'cause
Yeah,
you
that's
had-
all I'm doing.
yeah,
Because I mean, I don't know if I can look hot, but I will take photos and post them of myself. Well, so because of this backup in luggage, I am faced with something that I don't want to do because I simply don't have time to wait on luggage. And that is that I am going to be packing for 9 nights, 10 days in both England and Italy and I will be packing only in carry-ons.
That is incredibly ambitious. Is your wife going to do this as well?
Yes, Barrett. It's not good. It's not good. We've even talked to people about it, and they're like, "No, as much as I don't want to tell you this, like you have to carry on everything." They're like, "It's just too backed up." And if we didn't leave the very next morning from London, we would probably just do it and say like, "Hey, if our stuff gets lost for a couple days, we'll be fine. We can
Got
bring
it.
some changes
Right.
of clothes."
Yeah.
But we don't have the time to sit there and go do it. And if they lose like our stuff for the wedding, her bridesmaid dress, my
Yeah.
tuxedo, things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I mean, even traveling domestically. Sorry to keep referring to this trip that I just went on, but like we did the same thing. Like we put all of our good, like everything that we would absolutely need for the wedding, everything that was super important for like the first day or two, we put in carry-ons.
Exactly.
And then checked one bag. But Yeah, we were not anticipating any type of 4-hour wait to even collect bags. And it sounds like almost like a guarantee that like you're just going to have to leave the airport and they'll get your bags to you like when they can, basically.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
is insane.
I was even told that if you have an air tag in your bag, like it doesn't matter. Like nothing's getting lost.
Right.
It's just backed up.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess how are you going to tackle toiletries is my first, because that honestly, number one reason I ever check a bag is just so that I do not have to deal with like putting everything in little 3-ounce bottles and getting all the little plastic tins and all that. Like that's the toiletries is the hardest part about not checking. Almost.
I'm honestly probably just going to buy some when I get there.
Yeah.
Okay. I think because I just don't know. The one thing that also worries me is that we're flying British Airways and their carry-on size is slightly smaller than other carry-ons.
Wow.
I have read that it shouldn't be a huge deal. Like they shouldn't actually check you and say no, but it does scare me a little bit.
Okay.
I will be packing exclusively I will be putting my tuxedo in a garment bag that Sally and I will be sharing.
Yes.
And that will act as one of our carry-ons.
Yeah.
We will also each be bringing an away larger carry-on suitcase, one each for ourselves, which will act as our main things, our main vessels. And then the final thing that we'll be packing is a duffel bag that should work. If they say no, it's going to be a situation.
Can I throw out one more idea that maybe you've thought of, maybe you haven't?
I would love you to, because I will take anything at this point.
So is there any type of hotel that you're getting to, like where you're staying for the wedding, that you will be at for multiple days?
Yes, we will be staying at our first location where we'll be staying for more than one day.
Yeah,
we will be there for I believe 3 nights, but we will really be leaving at like 6 a.m. on the final day.
Yeah, okay.
And then the next place will be for 4 nights.
So one option, not inexpensive, but you could just ship stuff straight to that hotel.
We've thought it. We're currently thinking about doing this, and it's kind of a make or break time for this move.
Yeah, because I'm reasonably positive that if you call them and tell them you're doing this, they'll be like, yeah, sure, we'll hold it for you until you get here.
I'm thinking about doing that. Another thing that we are thinking about doing is Sally has already purchased this, and we're going to give it a test run later this week. We are going to try pretty much vac sealing some of our clothing.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe some of the larger items. Maybe some of the stuff that needs to fit into the larger carry-on that doesn't work. My biggest concern, though, is not. I know that I can figure it out. I know that I will be able to figure it out. I have been told that we might be able to do one load of laundry when we're at one of the places that we're going to for free, because I know that at a lot of high-end hotels, which we're doing a honeymoon thing, so we're staying at a nice hotel our final trip. They're probably going to charge you $25 to launder one shirt. So I know I can do one load of laundry. My concern here is that, okay, I have my tuxedo that I have to bring. That's going to take up all my room in the garment bag. I have 3 dinners that I'm going to where I need to wear a jacket. Okay. So here's my question for you, Barrett. And this is all just part of the greater conundrum here. Mm-hmm. Can I wear one of my suit jackets as just a blazer for a dinner? Is that going to look egregious if I do this?
You mean not your tuxedo jacket, or you do mean your tuxedo
jacket?
No.
I want to bring like just a linen coat, my green linen coat, probably, because I'm not going to buy a new suit, especially if I have to I don't know. Can I just wear this with a pair of slacks to my dinners that I have to do a jacket to?
Yes. Yeah. The answer here, you can generally answer this question for yourself based on either how like formal, classic, traditional your suit is, or how unstructured, casual, textured, those are kind of the 2 opposite ends of your spectrum here. If you're talking your navy or gray, like interview, business, funeral suit, no, you cannot wear that jacket. It's a blazer.
Okay.
You'll look pretty silly.
Okay. Can I wear my green linen casual blazer?
If you've got something that's like unstructured, no padding in the shoulders, if it's a color like a green or something like that, that stuff typically works much better as a separate, essentially. And a lot of that type of stuff, like if you shop at J. Crew or Todd Snyder, it's one of the reasons why they even sell a lot of their suits as separates, because some of those coats work just fine as a blazer, basically. So yeah, I do think that your green suit, that jacket separated from the pants, does work as a sport coat or a blazer.
Okay. What pants am I supposed to wear with these? This is what's stressing me out now, because I kind of had already mentally committed, even if you told me I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But I don't have any pants that I feel comfortable doing. Do I need to buy like a pair of like nice slacks in order to do this? I'm not opposed to doing so because I do just need nice slacks in general.
Yeah. Well, so I guess the question is these places where a jacket is required, I kind of feel like those are the same establishments that will say no to denim.
They will,
Yeah.
probably.
So you
I
can't
also
do
don't
like
feel
the
I don't think I have any denim that I would say would look good enough to even do that. Like
yeah.
I
I mean, there's
I don't know if I'm gonna pack jeans on this trip.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, the I feel like there are some like spots in Italy which are very, sprezzy and like
Hmm.
Brunello Cucinelli vibes where like you can do the kind of almost like dad jeans with
Yeah.
with a cool blazer. But yeah, if you want to do the slacks with that, then you might need to sort something out, especially with like a green blazer where you can't really just throw like any old like pair of chinos together with it.
Yeah.
Like the colors do kind of need to go together a little
Hmm.
bit.
Hmm.
So you might have to be out on the hunt this week for some type of kind of tailored semi-formal but still sort of casual trouser.
I'm in hell right now. I hate packing anyway, and the idea that I have to pack for 10 days in 1.5 carry-ons is just absolutely devastating.
What could you're talking about separating the jacket? Couldn't you just wear the suit?
I could wear the suit every night to dinner. I'm just worried that if there was a place that is more like kind of casual, but like,
Hmm.
I mean, I want to be dressed up. Like
Right.
it is a nice wedding. It is my kind of honeymoon. I kind of want to get a little fancy the entire time. And so I could wear that, but I feel like I feel like deep down I'm going to want to wear a nice pair of slacks with it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think really I'm looking for a license just to go get a new pair of
I
slacks.
think you need a new pair of slacks.
Yeah. I already have to go get a new tux shirt as I pulled out my old tux shirt thinking it was going to be fine. And then I saw so many stains on it from the last time that I wore
can't
it.
tell you how many times I've done this. Like put away a suit or a tuxedo and be like, oh yeah, this thing's fine. And then you go to pull it out the next time. You're like, how did I miss this red wine
Yeah.
stain?
How drunk was I when I thought that this shirt was fine to hang back up?
Yeah.
Like I could not believe the stains on the shirt that I pulled out. It was shocking that
Yeah.
I even thought that it was okay to do that.
I feel like I do not advocate, dry cleaning does like break down the threads in your clothes. So you shouldn't do it more often than you need to. So like, I'm definitely not a person that like wears a suit to a wedding or an event and it's like, boom, it's going to the dry cleaner.
Mhm.
But your shirts, if you wear a shirt to an event, chances are like that thing just needs to go in the wash or to the dry cleaners, like even if you think it's clean.
You actually inspired me on that front because for the longest time I would just dry clean stuff all the time. I would clean stuff all the time and like I was very anal about doing all that. You told me when we were working at Grand X that you didn't I mean a lot of times you don't wash the clothes, you just leave it,
Yeah.
you steam it out, do
Steam it out.
whatever.
Yep.
And you've changed a lot of how I operate when it comes to those things. I will fold sweaters and just put them right away. I will take shirts and hang them right back up if I've just gone out for like a quick drink with somebody or something. You and I had a drink, I think, last week, and I
Yep.
just took. No, I didn't take those. I'm thinking of something else. I got real sweaty at our drink last week.
We were, outdoors, like 97 degrees. It was tolerable, but sweaty.
Yeah, but when you do this now that I've done this and I think I'm okay, then I find myself in the situations where you open it up and see that red wine stain and think, what the hell just happened?
What are you going to do about shoes?
So I'm going to pack. In my mind, I have 3 pairs of shoes that I want to pack. I need to pack a pair of nice loafers that I can wear to the wedding. It's a black tie wedding. So I will be bringing my Belgian loafers that I'll be wearing to that and to pretty much any nice dinner.
Okay.
Like
And
I'm just going to use those as my plug and play nice shoes.
And those don't take up too much space.
No.
Yeah.
And those can fit very, very easily at the bottom of anything pretty much.
Yeah.
From there, I'm a little stressed. I'm probably going to wear a pair of sneakers on the plane just because we're going to do a lot of walking while we're over there. So
Your Nikes, your Trail Pegasus.
probably going to do those.
Yep.
And then I would love to get some other shoes. I think I'm going to get some shoes. I'm either going to pack a pair of Sabas that can also pack very light.
Yep.
Whether it's the loafers or the Babas that are the slides. The slides pack so light that I almost might just force myself to do that.
Yep.
But I don't really have any other shoes that I really want to bring. And so I really just need to figure out a way to pack 2 small pairs of shoes.
Okay.
I think I can do that. I think
Yeah.
I can figure that out pretty easily. Or I have entertained the idea of just showing up to the airport looking like Joey from Friends when he wears all of Chandler's clothes. Because I think that would work for me. So if you see me showing up to the Austin Bergstrom airport wearing like a giant cardigan sweater over like or underneath like a suit or
Mhm.
something. Like, just don't ask questions. I'm trying to get to Europe with as little checked baggage as possible.
And then you mentioned a garment bag. Does your garment bag have like, is it one of the kind of fancier ones, or is it just straight nothing but zip down, zip back up?
Straight, nothing but zip down, zip back up.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
a classic Filson garment bag that I got using our old discount code.
Nice.
Very, very good purchase.
So
using
no
the
little
discount
extra
code.
exterior pockets or anything like that?
One giant exterior pocket where you can put, I would say you can put dress shirts and stuff like that in that exterior pocket
Okay.
because it will all lay very flat
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
And since we're going to steam everything
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. You just got to look for every nook and cranny. I love your idea of the vacuum sealing. I mean,
Dude,
that's an extra step, but it might be essential
I'm already
to get
dreading
to
like
get 10 days in checked bags.
I am dreading the night before we fly back of me hand pumping my clothes in these little bags so that I can fit them all into my carry-on. I'm just absolutely dreading it. Oh, well, Barrett, you've made me feel a little bit better. I will be making a run probably to the Domain this week to get a pair of slacks, a new tuxedo shirt, and honestly, I'm not even sure what else. I'm very stressed about this. I will probably be putting a lot of stuff up about this trip overall on the Sunday Scaries feed.
Yeah,
But
I feel like I'm just a chronic overpacker, so it's extra scary to me. But for anybody that's like, are you generally a lighter packer?
no,
No,
I'm the trademark overpacker.
Yeah, okay,
It'll
all
be
right.
a long weekend away, and I'll have a 50-pound
Yeah.
suitcase that I'm bringing to the airport. I don't care. I don't care. I've naturally
Yeah.
had to become a much lighter packer since Fritz was born
Mhm.
because we have to pack so much of his stuff that
Right.
I have become a lot more efficient. Even when we went to like, I mean, obviously, I should have done it this way. I shouldn't be patting myself on the back, but when we did like the Dead and Company concert in LA for 24 hours, like I packed like nothing.
Yeah.
I packed one change of clothes and then just rolled out of bed the next day and got on the flight and went home.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm getting better, but at a place like this where you're trying to be,
Yeah.
you're trying to be Lux Italian.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
I want to get nice with it.
Yeah. I feel you. Yeah.
Well, I have been putting off thinking about fall until this trip is over because I'm trying to channel those summer Talented Mr. Ripley vibes. Uh, Unfortunately, a lot of the world is about to get smacked right in the face with a lot of fall stuff. And Barrett, I trust you as much as anybody when it comes to trends, when it comes to things that are coming out, when it comes to just general intel. And the
Yeah.
first thing that I thought of when I was thinking about today's episode was, you know what? It's probably sneaky time to start talking fall trends.
Based on the way that just the fashion calendar works, it is time. Lot of fall 22 stuff has already come out. Smaller brands like the ones I work for, Howler Brothers, we've already put out like the bulk of our collection. The designer stuff is like coming in every day, and the day after this podcast releases, it will be September, which is it's basically fashion Christmas.
For me, that is the cutoff. Like once it's September, it's fall. I don't operate by weather. I don't operate by like the vibe of anybody else. I just operate when it's really September or Labor Day. Like it's just fall after that.
Right. So it is time to start thinking about some of this stuff, even if you're not ready to pull trig on any purchases just yet.
Okay. Yeah. I'm ready to pull trig. I'm so ready. I have been saving. I have been not buying material items for a very long time. So I'm looking for you to convince me to buy some stuff today.
Well, so I put together a list of 3 trends today that I think are kind of some key ones to pay attention to. And what I like about each of these 3 trends is that they are kind of equally applicable to both men and women.
Okay.
I'll be the first to tell you that like my knowledge of women's wear is not as strong as it is for men's, and I always gravitate more towards the women's stuff that like has some menswear influence or some tailoring to it or shares some common threads. So this is just a quick caveat that at least a couple of these will have that shared kind of synapse with menswear because it's what I'm kind of most in tune with.
You and I have talked about it before, though. Like I know you've told me before that you have drawn a lot of inspiration for like fashion just in general from women's stuff.
Yeah.
I I've started to do that a lot more, and I kind of love it.
Yeah. And it's kind of, it is circular in nature, right?
Yeah.
Because like I'll see women doing menswear better than women, and then those types of outfits kind of like influence me. So it is, it's a time is a flat circle in that way. But yeah, you want to get started?
I would love to.
Okay. So the first thing is something that this is not a new trend, but it is just like it's kind of peak trend. It's something that we've talked about over on Club Cool before, but I'm going to start with footwear, specifically boots.
Okay.
And the thing about boots, and this is any boot, is that it's got to be chunky. It's got the bigger the better, the gnarlier, the more lugs sold it is, the taller it is, just the more kind of like outrageous and extreme it looks. That's where we're going. We're at boot maximalism. And I think the boots that personify this the most are probably the Bottega Veneta tire boots that have kind of dominated for a fall or two now here.
People are going to hear me clopping up if I get anything like this.
They will. And
oh, by the way, if you are somebody who's like, I wish I could see what he's talking about right now, this is the reason you should go to youtube.com/Sunday Scaries podcast, where you can see Barrett scrolling through all of this on the screen right now.
But so here's an article from earlier this year from GQ. Front and center is the Bottega tire boot, and then I also have an editorial pulled up from Net-a-Porter, where again, nearly the exact same boot is also pictured for women. So great example of how this kind of crosses over. Another thing that I like about this trend is that even though the through line is this big chunky boot, you can kind of take it in any direction you want. So if you like want to get crunchier with it, there's like all sorts of hiking boots that have like these bigger soles, and then they'll also get like you'll get the lacing systems with the metal eyelets and maybe like a colored lace and something cooler like that. If you want to keep it really dialed in, there's like plenty of like Chelsea boot options. If you're more grunge, you like flannels, ripped jeans, that type of stuff, there's Doc Martens and like the combat boot kind of aspect of it. And then even for our fellow Texans and like Southern state people that don't actually get cold enough weather to wear any of this stuff until December at the earliest, there's plenty of like loafer options as well that do the big soles or the lug soles or something like that. A lot of great pairs from Isabel Marant, Doc Martens, like I just mentioned. So there's a ton of options here, a lot of different ways that you can go with it. And for women, it's also pitched as essentially going with anything, whether you're doing that girl oversized blazer tailoring or Gigi Hadid style athleisure, or if you're just kind of like making you're doing something very feminine like a floral dress or something like that, a midi dress, you can still do a chunkier boot and kind of like make it more capital F fashion.
What if I'm just like a generic dude who wears, hypothetically of course speaking, I'm just some generic dude that wears like, I don't know, Lululemon chinos every day to work, and I want to get some chunky boots. Like, what kind of upgrades do I need to make in order to accommodate some of these chunkier boots?
Well, so here's I'm going to go the reverse with it. How about what boot do you need to follow this trend and not have to make too many adjustments?
There you go.
How
okay.
About that?
Okay.
So I mentioned how this can be like a hiking boot type thing.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to throw up two different versions of this that are kind of like, one's the fashion version, and one will be essentially like what inspired this. So the first one is this. I'll start with the expensive fashion iteration of this. This is called the Wilson boot from Reese Cooper, one of my favorite designers.
Okay.
And this is just like a straight up take on a classic hiking boot.
Yeah, this is what you would see. I mean, this is a much more modern version of what you would see. Like, I mean, if you're looking through old school ski photos of people from like way back, like that's the kind of boot that you would see. And it's a classic silhouette.
It does. It's got that like that bigger cutout on the sole, which like you're saying is very vintage, and almost a nod to like, original ski boots. And then one of the things that you're getting here is like a super specialized Vibram sole, and then really cool color options. And then each of these boots is going to come with like 3 different pair of laces. It's got this kind of funky lacing system, so you can do all this crazy stuff with it. But let's say you're not ready to spend $600 on the fashion version of this and like buy a bunch of like oversized baggy cargo pants to go along with them. Boom, right here we have a Merrell hiking boot that looks awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is you can probably walk into REI and find a pair of these. They're $120. They'll last you years. And Merrill, which actually, as it happens, is doing some collaborations with Reese Cooper, or has some collaborations with Reese Cooper coming up. Check out the sole. It's still a Vibram sole. You're getting a really like, on trend, earthy suede colorway. There's a reason why this boot is already like, running out of sizes.
My size is gone.
Yeah.
My size is gone. I do like this.
But so this is there's a leather option, there's a black option, if that's your vibe. And Merrell's not the only brand that has this type of boot, but that's where we're going here. If you just want to like get in on this, but kind of keep your standard, more traditional wardrobe alive.
Okay. I think that makes sense for me. I'm still so hesitant on like the wider pants. I'm not I'm done buying pants that are slim fit, but I'm still hesitant in going above just like the kind of, whatever
Right.
fit.
Well, I mean, even a straight fit feels very modern right now. Like you don't have to buy like the big chino from J. Crew,
Yeah.
to look like you know what you're doing. The other thing about this aspect, for men or women, if you go kind of like the chunkier like hiking boot range, but really with all these, the shoes that I get the most wear out of, the reason why at the current moment you can usually find me in like a pair of Salomon trail sneakers, and for you like your Nike Pegasus,
Mhm.
like if it can stand up to any weather and I don't have to worry about like ruining them, I'm wearing them all the time.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm actually wearing those Nike Pegasus right now, and I went back to go buy another pair because I wear them so often
Yep.
that I was like, even if it's a different color, they are sold out of like everything in my size. But I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I totally agree. Knowing that these have held up so well throughout all the times that I've been wearing them, it makes me more likely to wear them and just randomly throw them on because I know that they will stand up to everything, and they've done so, and they still don't look very like tattered or bad.
Yeah. That's the
And hiking boots will do that exact same thing for you, unless you're in a place that's like, don't get swayed if you're living in New York City and expect them to last for like 5 seasons.
Yeah, or at least be okay with a little bit of dirt and splatter that does happen to stain them. Also, get yourself some suede spray. But for those that are just listening, that was the men's Moab 2 deconstructed mid by Merrill One Trail. If you need to pull that up on your phone right quick, and you don't have the email or the video up to see it. Okay, you ready to move on to the next one, Will?
Yes.
All right. This is actually going to be a callback to something that you were talking about.
Oh yeah.
Just a minute ago. But everybody, you got to get some trousers. And what I mean by this is mostly that you need pants that are 1, not denim, and 2, not athleisure.
Okay.
So and athleisure, that's your joggers and your sweats and that type of thing. I just did a screen grab here. If you're watching on YouTube, because this is just what popped up when I Googled for women trousers. And this is from Google, so all of these are paid for in some way, shape, or form. But I thought it was a nice little snapshot of the women's look that I'm talking about, which is a kind of high-waisted but voluminous tailored pant. It just so happens that every item that was pulled up in the search results here was like a kind of a color of khaki tan, and then just a really nice array of brands that I certainly follow along with, and that I think are really like approachable for women, and still at kind of different price points. We've got J. Crew and Everlane pictured on the kind of on the most approachable end, and then 2 of my favorite contemporary brands for women, Reformation and Cezanne, and all 4 offering from $89.50 to $195. So we're not totally breaking the bank for these, but like getting out of the denim comfort zone, I think is going to be huge this fall. I've done a lot of talk about like elastic waists for shorts on guys, and now we're finally seeing that kind of come to fruition in all sorts of pant silhouettes as well. Let me take you to a men's brand that I really like. It's John Elliott. So we will be on the more expensive side of pants for guys here, but why I wanted to pull them up is because they've basically got an option in every type of silhouette that I'm thinking about right now. So we've got like our double pleat, very loose, kind of like dressy trouser
Are we
here.
liking pleats?
We are liking pleats.
I've
Yeah.
always been a fan of pleats, but I just haven't. A lot of pleated pants are on the much higher end of the pricing spectrum.
Yep.
I assume just because of the
The
construction and
construction and
low. Like I mean, cheap companies don't make pleated pants.
yeah, and it's also like because it's been something that is being pushed forward, on the trendier side. Like it just takes time for that type of stuff to make its way down to the least expensive
Yeah,
brands.
yeah.
And then
Like Noah, I tried on some Noah
yeah,
pleated
Noah's
pants.
been doing it for several seasons.
This was before COVID because I was in the store in New York and I haven't been back since. And I tried them on, not knowing what the price was, and I absolutely fell in love with them. I was like, these are the most comfortable pants I've put on in years. These fit perfectly. I love them, and they released a very very similar pair on their site for fall this year that will not be getting. But if anyone's out there looking to spend on some real nice trousers, I will not steer you away from the Noah ones, even though I can't vouch for them totally.
I think what pleats also do, kind of in this new era of more relaxed pants, is they give you all that comfort up top while still allowing for like a slightly slimmer, more tapered pant leg.
hmm
You know, so another great option here is like this more technical trouser, which does have a half elasticized waistband, but is a little bit more cropped and in some type of synthetic blended fabric. I can't remember what the exact composition is, but something that is a little bit more durable and resistant to a variety of elements. And then here's that easy trouser that I talked about. Full elasticized waistband on this. You can really dress this up or dress it down with hoodies and a t-shirt. Uh, Point being, you got to find space in your wardrobe for something that's not jeans. And I'm talking to myself there as well, because like, for my Colorado trip, like only pants that I had that weren't part of my suit, jeans.
See,
and I kind of felt like a schlub.
I'm just now getting into the jean game, and I'm having to get out.
Well, so you stayed out of the denim game for long enough that now it's just back on into your favor.
Well, I did just put a link in here for you, Barrett. I have a friend who works for AYR, and she let me know that they are going to be launching some men's stuff soon. And she said, please hit me up. I will send you some stuff. And so I finally decided that instead of trying to get some type of jeans or something, in the past, I've been just buying jeans from if I get a discount through a sponsor or something like that, I've been going full jeans just because I'm like, well, I don't know what works on me. So
Sure.
I'm just going to get some of those. But I was like, you know what? I'm getting a free pair of nice pants. I'm going to go with a pair of like just straight up trousers. And I got the PAL from AYR. These aren't released yet, so I don't actually know anything about them.
Is AYR, wasn't this the sister brand to Bonobos?
I have no clue. Sally has bought a couple matching sets from AYR that are
Okay.
kind of like beachy and vacationy and stuff like that. And to be honest, Bear, I'm not really sure. It was a company that I'd heard of a lot, and it wasn't something I ever thought of. And my friend reached out to me and said she recently started working for them. And when I went on their site and saw that they had men's, I kind of fell in love with a couple pieces that they had on here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, are you receiving these before your said trip?
If I am, they will be. And if I do get them before the trip and they fit me well,
Mhm.
they will be making the trip with me
Yeah.
as I will feel confident in them.
Yeah, this is a great example of exactly what I'm talking about.
They have a ton of different ones on here. I will say it is a little pricier, and so like I did have the luxury of getting them for free. But it is a much more kind of like wider leg. It's got those kind of creases down the center.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm interested to see what this dive in looks like.
Yeah. That's the AYR, the PAL, and yeah, it looks like a mid-September release on these. So
I will keep everyone updated on how they go.
Yeah, definitely, please do. But that's kind of, and look, denim never dies.
No.
That's a great name for a podcast. But
that's an offshoot. That's Denim Never Dies by Retail Therapy by Sunday Scaries.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And I'm certainly not like rushing to sell denim. Like that's still probably what I will wear the most often this fall. But I am looking forward to like working trousers, whether they be, paired very casually or like you were suggesting, kind of like with some type of tailoring or suit separate or sport coat. And then for women as well, I just think I'm just seeing trousers everywhere. The high waist is still really popular. And then just the volume, like if you want to take it all the way to the top, let's just think about like Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen's The Row,
Mhm.
or Phoebe Philo's Celine. Like those are two just hit so hard still. They still matter. They still
How do the
infiltrate
Olsen twins get away with this?
infiltrate the whole, the whole fashion zeitgeist. And those are kind of two, like, just like, those are the zeniths of trousers when I think about this type of stuff,
How's Michelle Tanner getting away with charging this much on the row?
because they do it really well.
They do, but I feel like I've been numbed to like high end prices, but
Mhm.
just based on like my old job and like just kind of following brands that I like and things like that. And will still go to the row and be like, man, that is expensive. Like that is crazy.
So I think that,
I love it all though.
yeah, like
That's the issue.
what they did is they basically like took it upon themselves to perfect what I would call like voluminous minimalism.
Hmm.
And because they are who they are, and because their brand has been successful, they no longer like, they just don't have to worry about anything like how many units they make or how much something costs. It just costs what it costs, because anybody buying their stuff doesn't have to think about that type of thing, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I love the way it all looks. I was just recently, having this conversation about, what if I just got rid of everything I own clothing wise, and I just dedicated myself to just buying like one thing from the row every
And you just
season.
wore it every day.
Yeah, and that was just like, the truth is, if you did that, you would, even the highest end garment like that, if you wore it too much, you would burn through it, and it wouldn't hold up for
So
season after season after
if
season.
I bought these comparable wool and mohair trousers over here for $990, you're
Mhm.
telling me that I would eventually wear them out?
If you wore them every single day, yeah, you might.
'Kay.
But I don't know. I mean, they're probably pretty durable. And what I have heard, just to wrap it up on the row, is that like, you really, like, once you feel it, it's like you get it. Like everything is just,
That's the scary part about like high-end brands.
yeah.
Once you know, it's like, oh, I can't forget how good this felt the first time. Like the first time I ever felt a like elder statesman sweater,
Yeah.
it changed the way that I looked at cashmere forever, because it was like, oh, like I've been feeling like the J. Crew cotton cashmere my entire life. Like people are actually wearing this stuff like out. Like people are letting like rain get on these cashmere sweater. Like what's going on?
Yeah.
What do we got next, Barrett?
Okay. The last thing that I've got here is, maybe you heard of this summer, is Barbiecore.
I have
And-
heard of this. I don't think I knew exactly what it meant though.
Okay, so basically, like, if you saw Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox on a press tour this summer for like all of his albums or whatever else he was promoting, you saw Barbiecore like done to its peak.
Yeah.
Another way you may have seen this is through all of the shots that have been making their way to Instagram of Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling actually filming the Barbie movie.
I mean, they've gone all in.
They've gone all in. And then, Kim Kardashian has been doing a lot of this pink stuff. There she is again. If you're watching on YouTube, it's basically, it kind of is what it sounds like. It's really bright pink in kind of any way that you want to throw it down. And then I've noticed quite a few influencers wearing dresses that I would basically, or clothing dresses that I would call like party dresses.
Yeah.
Kind of in that like almost like late 90s, early 2000s Sex and the City vibe.
Yeah.
Where it's
Dude.
like silky or poly. They're a little bit sexy, and then a lot of like bright colors. I've noticed a lot of chartreuse coming back, a lot of pink, a lot of kind of orange. Just a lot of these like really bright poppy saturated colors in kind of like party wear
I've noticed,
for women.
and I could be just behind here. I mean, I don't pay attention to red carpet fashion all that much. But I've just seen so many mini skirts on red carpets lately. Is that new, or have I just not been really paying attention?
I think that, I mean,
It reminds me of like high school.
for me, that just falls into some of the things some of the other aesthetics that we've talked about recently, whether it's like night looks
Yeah.
or just the kind of, or just like the blowback, the kind of the opposite movement from like all the wellness centered stuff. it's a little slutty.
Yeah,
Right? Like it's a little sexy. Like
no,
it's a
like it
little
is. Like it reminds me of like going out clothes that girls would wear in college to like, like go dance and go do
yeah.
kind of that stuff. And the first time I saw it on the red carpet, I was like, huh, like that's not as dressed up as I would have expected this person. And I don't even want to say her name because I don't want to like throw her under the bus. It's not like someone's super, super famous,
Yeah.
but like I was like, oh, that's not really that dressed up. And then since I had that thought, I've been seeing it more and more. And I'm like, oh, this is the cool girl. Like these cool girls are just wearing these things all the time.
Yeah. And so, yeah, so that's, it's a lot of kind of like Miami beachy tropical stuff, but less linen, less coastal grandma and
Mhm.
more like Miami Vice kind of nights out at a dinner that didn't start until 10:45. Right.
So a game that I can no longer play.
Okay. How does this translate to men? Obviously there are some men like Machine Gun Kelly pictured here wearing pink. Who else was that? Was Sebastian Stan at like let's see, at the Prada show, I want to say. Um, Either way, he was decked out in pink. That might have been the Met Gala, actually. But where I would actually say that this works in more to menswear is just like the acceptance of color back into the wardrobe, especially bright color. And then I would say this is most personified. I'll just pull it up here by the Marnie mohair cardigans that have dominated the last few seasons in all sorts of crazy argyles, stripes, and then they're very recognizable because they always come in very bright colors, and then the mohair fabric that is used is also always super textured, and you kind of look like a Muppet.
Yeah.
So, but this kind of shock of color and texture, and just like bringing those punchier flavors back into a wardrobe are kind of, I think we'll start to see more of this starting with this fall. Another great example is like the super bright colors on those to bring it all back. Those Bottega Veneta tire boots that I mentioned as well. You're seeing a lot of like cerulean blue or bright yellow or neon green. And so that's how I would say the Barbiecore kind of translates best over onto the men's side.
Have you bought anything yourself that is in line with what you've spelled out today?
Yeah. So the thing that I would the piece of this that I would say has been going on the longest is the boots,
Mm-hmm.
the chunkier boots, the kind of the gravitation away from like those slimmer, cleaner silhouettes. And so I do have a couple of pair of boots that fall into that lug sole, big chunky hiking boot category.
I could see myself going this, like you brought up the Marnie mohair cardigans. I love mohair in general.
Mhm.
I just talked last week on Sunday Scaries about wanting a mohair throw blanket because they're so nice. But now I'm like, man, having a mohair sweater might not be the worst thing. But like you said, all my sweaters right now are black, gray, boring,
Yeah.
solid colors. The one thing that I would love to add this winter when it's a lot cooler outside is just one of these brighter sweaters. And I have one that I could probably do, but I mean, I think these have been so evident on everything that I've been reading that like it's kind of hard to ignore at this point.
Yeah.
And I feel like these sweaters, like I think you said, it's not just this year. I mean, I think these have been pretty hot for a while.
This has been happening for, I would say, I think it kind of like bubbled 2 falls ago and then was started to get very, very big. And you saw like a lot of like Stussy put out a bunch of great colors of a fuzzy cardigan. Now when you drop down to the $100 range, $125 range, you won't get full mohair. You'll get like a nylon blend or a poly or acrylic or something like that. That's where the price really jumps is to get the mohair. Although you definitely don't have to spend Marnie price either.
They have faux mohair out there, and like it ain't bad.
Yeah, no. Yeah, and even some of the nylon and poly stuff still. I mean, you ever walked into like West Elm and felt a throw blanket? It feels great.
Yeah.
It's all
not going to
poly.
complain
It's all
about that.
acrylic.
Not complaining.
So yeah, there are definitely ways to jump in on this for approachable price points as well. And yeah, if you just pay attention to it. My guess is that there's a J. Crew fuzzy cardigan on its way.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
Probably.
Like,
I think there was even, I mentioned Noah. Like, I'm pretty sure Noah dropped some stuff that I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's definitely in line with this. Well, Barrett, I'm sure this isn't the last time we're going to talk about fall fashion.
Probably
considering
not.
it's August, and it's definitely not the first time. So if anyone out there has any that we missed, anything that we should talk about, or any questions that you have, again, we will be doing some listener questions on next week's recording that will be releasing whatever. You guys get it. It's time. Wish list.
Ooh, I'm going to let you start this week.
I'll start this week. I actually, while I was looking for wish list items, I decided to zone out a little bit today and just hop on Instagram, and something got marketed to me from a website that I follow called Old School Outdoor, and they sell a lot of vintage Patagonia items on there. I don't really follow it because I'm looking for vintage Patagonia. I mainly follow this because I just think that seeing those old items is kind of like, I mean, they even describe what I'm about to talk about as being museum worthy piece.
Okay.
But I'm talking about a very staple product made by Patagonia, and I'm talking about the stand-up shorts. I don't even think you can buy them currently on their site, but they put up some from the 1970s, so a straight-up vintage pair of the Chenard equipment, which was, I think that was before Patagonia was even Patagonia.
Yeah.
They're in my size, 34. These things are in the condition of something that has been well loved. They look so soft, and I'm like, man, I don't need these, and I don't need to spend $225 on a pair of stand-up shorts from Patagonia with a 4-inch inseam, but I want to. So I'm putting them on the wish list. Not an imminent cop.
Okay.
Just a wish list item.
Yeah, this is I always wonder, like with stuff from the 1970s, for example. Like, stop and think about how old that means these are. That means they're like, what, going on 50 years old?
Yeah. And like, think about like,
so like,
think about
well
like
can
small,
they really
medium,
hold
large,
up?
things like that. Think about like the way that sizing has had to have changed through the years. Think about like, I mean, I know these are 30. Oh, it says 30, 32. And yeah, so I can't get these anymore. This is the second time in one episode.
The waist has come all the way down to 32 inches.
Can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't. Your boy can't pull off. I can pull off 33. I can't pull off 32 most of the time. But I mean, I don't know. There's something about like vintage Patagonia stuff that I think I will always have somewhat of a connection to. Maybe it's just because I like Yvon Chouinard, and like, I mean, one of the very few books I've read in the last 2 years has been Let My People Go Surfing by him. But I just think the vintage Patagonia stuff is cool just because, and there's also a community around it, which is kind of fun to view from afar on Instagram and stuff. Did you go to their, they have their, what do they call it?
Who are we talking about? Sorry.
Patagonia, when they do their,
well worn?
Yeah, well worn.
Something like that? Yeah. I've definitely toyed around on the well worn site.
Did you visit them when they came to Austin?
No, I didn't get to.
I went down there and I actually had them fix something for me, and it was a pretty cool experience. It definitely made me like Patagonia more from that experience.
So I use a Patagonia black hole bag. It's like a gym bag, and the it's got kind of that film almost on it. That's like some of the protective element of it, and like the handles have kind of worn through on that. And so next time they're around, I want to see if they'll like what they'll do for.
Oh, they'll do something.
Yeah,
they will do something. I mean, Patagonia is very accommodating if something ever goes wrong with their stuff. They'll probably, for a lot of people out there, they'll just send you something brand new if you send in a damaged item. They don't like when their stuff gets damaged. And then they'll flip it and give it to somebody
and sell
else.
It for $225.
Oh, yeah. I guess the realization that these fit like a 32 instead of a 34 is just devastating. So we will endure. Maybe I should be thankful that I have a reason not to spend $225 on a pair of shorts that have about as much fabric as like a sleeve. So I guess I'll throw it to you, Barrett.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a spring summer 22 item from Engineered Garments that's hanging around in a few places, and it's on sale. And it personifies a wish list item in that I don't need it at all. It's really impractical and silly. But it's called the cover vest from Engineered Garments, and really what attracts me to this is that this is one of my favorite prints that they've done in a really long time. It's this super simple, like kind of light olive, dark olive, kind of like tropical leaf print. And the vest, the impractical vest, is something that I'm always attracted to. Mm-hmm. And I've tried it once, and I tried it with an 18 East vest once. I wore it like 3 times, and then it just like went to the back of the closet and it landed on Grailed like last year. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know.
Are you still selling on Grailed these days?
Oh yeah.
I might. Can you follow people on there?
Yeah.
I'm very green when it comes to Grailed.
Yeah. But this one, I love the tactical nature of it. You know, I want to picture myself just like throwing this on over a t-shirt and just like trudging out into downtown Austin. Something that I literally never do.
Barrett, I could see you doing this though. Like I can actually see this happening in this. Like this works.
Here's like another site like has a guy wearing it. I'll pull it up. You know, like it's very cool. It's kind of like military, but like not too stolen valor.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say it's stolen valor at all. I think the print helps you out here. If it was if it was actual camouflage, not just like, you know, a palm leaf over you, then I might be like, yeah, Barrett's trending a little too stolen valor.
Yeah. But I just want to load up like this giant front pocket that sits on your chest with like, you know, an AirPod Max or something.
Don't test me. Don't test me.
Isn't that just the perfect little size pocket to drop in your over-ear AirPod Max?
I think it is. Yeah. I really think it is, unfortunately.
But yeah, so this is just, it's an item that's hanging out. It's like, it's come down to like somewhere in between, like, you know, it's like right about $175. If it comes closer to the $100 end on any of these websites, it's getting copped.
I don't know why, but I am more into you getting this than I have been for some of your other items. Like okay. I'm never anti any of your wish list items, but this one in particular, I'm like, I kind of want Barrett to strut his stuff in this.
Well, okay, you might have just pushed me over the top. Let me
the pocket on the right chest looks like it would be perfect for the non-iPhone cell phones we talked about getting the other day or a couple episodes ago. If we just had like a cat, like we could just toss that thing in there and have room for more.
That's true. Yeah. 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 So let me figure out how much damage I did in Telluride, and then we'll come back to this next week.
Yeah. All the fall purchases that I've kind of discussed today or thought about, that might all go out the window once we return back from Italy and I'm on a straight up, like just moratorium.
You're on that ramen diet.
Yeah. It's going to be tough, but we'll endure.
Yeah.
All right. Another one in the books. Had an absolute blast. Again, we'll probably be doing, we'll be recording listener questions next week for release the week after when I'm out of town. And again, we will probably be prioritizing listener questions that come from the actual Retail Therapy Instagram story as opposed to the Scaries one. But if you have a good question, we'll do our best to answer it. Barrett, do you have any closing thoughts for today?
Nope. Another one in the books. It, like you said, it was a good one. It was a fun one. I'm always happy to start talking fall, man.
I am never opposed to talking fall. That's why we're making next week happen. We don't normally record 2 weeks in a row. It's happening during the fall season. Sorry. All right. I guess we'll see you guys later.